Let me go back and say it again. So what are emotions? Emotion are biological and chemical reaction in our bodies. So a biological and chemical reaction in our bodies, right? In other words, they are sensation in our body caused by external or internal triggers. So we get triggered, our emotion gets triggered. So it can cause by whatever is in us, we are dealing with, or it can cause by external triggers. And that's, when I say external triggers, meaning things that maybe people from other people, or even sometimes is a sound. Some people hear a sound and it triggers them. Some people hear a smell and it triggers them. Some people can just see something and then it triggers the emotions. If you notice some people like that, they can just feel a certain way just because they hear a music or they just smell a cologne from someone. It triggers the stuff that they had maybe from someone, or stuff like that. So those are the external factors that can trigger our emotions. So some emotions are basic, obviously, and some emotions are learned by a repeatedly experience. So basic reaction like a fear, happiness, those are basics. But when we talk about repeated experience, maybe those who have been emotional from maybe abuse, those are repeated emotion. It can cause, this repeated experience can cause like a trauma. It can be one experience, but this experience can be repeated and you can learn and there's a new one, right? So as I say, some example of emotions are happiness, sadness, fear, anger, disgust, surprise. Those are very generic or very basic emotion that we all, have or face most of the time. So now, the difference between emotions and your feelings, right? So we have to understand there are quite a little bit of difference between the two. They're not the same. There is a difference between emotions and feelings. So your feelings are how we interpret emotions. That is feeling. Feeling can be, as we can associate feeling with physical, the way we feel in our body. So it can be physical or can be feeling as an emotional feeling, right? So you have to know that one. So we are talking about the emotional one, right? So that's the feeling. When we say, I feel this way, I feel that way. That's what we're talking about. So this feeling is you interpret your emotion through your feeling. So is also another word, what we experience as a result of our emotions. Right, so what we experience as a result of our emotions. So it's like the results of our emotions is like how we feel is because of the trigger that we just had based on our emotions, right? And let's see what really influence our emotions and then what really causes us to have the results of feeling in a certain way. All of it is your thought. So your thought has a great impact, right? Has a very great impact on your emotions. It's like your thoughts is a drive your emotions. They drive your emotions. You feel that way because first you were thinking about certain things, then you just quickly went on and felt sad. Let me make an example. For now, like I can just sit here and just be thinking about something. Maybe I'm in an environment that I don't like. I'm thinking about this environment. I don't like this environment. Because I thought about this environment, because I thought about I don't like it, I'm going to trigger the emotion of discomfort, right? So I'll suddenly feel discomfort about this environment because I feel I don't like it. So now that I trigger the discomfort in my emotion. Now I feel I'm not comfortable here because I don't like it, right? Now, let's go and see what really influence our thought for us to think a certain way and obviously trigger emotion to act in a certain way. So we know that thought is part of the mind, right? We all go back with the mind. I love the mind because I know mind is so powerful. In your mind, you have your emotions, your feeling, obviously, and your thought. Wherever you're thinking, influence your life. But with your mind, we have your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. The most important part of the mind is the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is actually the results of everything that goes on in your life, or the things that you has been influencing your life. It's like the subconscious is a part of your mind that everything goes and stays. So sometimes we do certain things unconsciously, you see. We do things unconsciously without us noticing what we're doing, but we don't know that the subconscious mind of our mind, or the part of our mind which is subconscious mind, is what is actually influencing us to do or act a certain way. That's why I say our thoughts sometimes are influenced based on our subconscious mind. So as I said, let's go and see what are thoughts. So what is thoughts? Thought is the outcome of your mental activity. So it's the outcome of your mental activity. Whatever you do on a daily basis, so your thought is a result of it. And as I said before, your thought is part of your mind, right? Your thoughts are energy. So everything that you experience and everything that you do is a result of your thoughts. I can now just think about something that makes me really happy, and suddenly my mood can change. But let's see who is in charge of your thought. You are the master of your thought. Nobody thinks for you. Yes, you might have had experiences that really trigger you to think a certain way, but at the same time, you are the master of your thoughts. You are in control of your thoughts. God is not in control of your thoughts, because God himself cannot force you to think in a way. He can give you an idea, but you choose, because you have the responsibility to change the way you think. You have the responsibility to make choices in life. So nobody thinks for you. You think, and you are the master of your thoughts. So as we know, thoughts are like a magnet. Whatever we think, we attract. Whether you know it or not, whatever you think, you attract. Imagine now thinking that, like, for instance, let me make this example. You've been through maybe a very unhealthy relationship. Maybe you've been through unhealthy relationships. So most of the time, the next one that is coming, every time that maybe a little thing happened, you will tell yourself, oh, I knew it. Why are you saying that word? It's because in your subconscious mind is already programmed that you were gonna have the same reaction that you had in the past. And that is what I'm saying. Some people never take time to renew their minds, but they always let the past experience sit in their subconscious mind, and they never know why they're constantly repeating the same experience. That's why I say some emotion can be learned by a repeated experience. So you have to be cautious of the things that if you don't like that kind of experience, what do? You start changing the way you think. Because the more we think about something, we form something called your mindset, right? You form your mindset through what we constantly think of. It's like we just we master this behavior of thinking, this action of thinking. So our mind get used to it. You know, when you start doing something repeatedly over and over again, you get used to it, like it becomes like a habit, right? That's where we form habit. Our habit is literally a result of our subconscious mind, because something that we repeat over and over again. Now we can't stop it. Some people can't stop smoking. Some people can't stop drinking because it was based on a repeated action, right? So that's how it is. Our mind can also be the same thing. If you constantly think about sadness, you constantly think about bad things that happen to you, what will happen to you? You get used to. Now you're comfortable being in that position of thinking about being sad. You know, you never like to have it's like you don't like if somebody tell you, why don't you change your mind? You know, like you feel comfortable in that place because now you become your comfort zone. You don't like going outside and think about different things that might help you in building a new system of having a different way of thinking. Now let's talk about something. Let's talk about paradigm. Let's talk about paradigm. So what is a paradigm? Paradigm is simply the way you were programmed. Paradigm is the way you were programmed, right? So the way you were programmed since your childhood. You know, when we were young, your parents gave birth to you, yes. And some people, you were raised by maybe other adults or other parents. So every person that has a responsibility in contributing in our growth, they had the responsibility in forming our paradigm. So you might have had parents that were strict on you. You might have had maybe people that you look up to that maybe told you that you were not good enough, or you can't do this, or they were like abusive, or they were very loving. Let's put it that way. So when you grow up, you know, not just your parents, but also the society, things that you see, what's going on, the television, your teachers, your coaches, every person that had um, that had you know, the chance to contribute in your growth. Let's put it that way. Those are the things that form your paradigm. So what I'm saying is, you know, we grow up and maybe you were rejected by your parents. So you suffer rejection. So we grow up in having these things in our subconscious mind, because your paradigm is basically just your subconscious mind, right? Because that's when you were programmed. So you grow up having this, you know, rejection, but you don't know why. Every time when maybe you are in a group and nobody's talking to you, you feel like, why nobody's talking to me? Nobody loves me. You know, that kind of feeling. So you feel like that is because of what happened to you in the past, in your childhood. So obviously, those thoughts are popping up. Maybe you are even unconscious about it, but that is how it is. So this program is basically the main of this is to help you to go back, you know, trace that time when you were young and you felt that way, and not literally build your way up, because your mind or your subconscious mind can be reprogrammed. So that means you can renew. I love this quote in the Bible, Romans chapter 12 verse 2. It says something like, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So that means our mind can be reprogrammed. So it's like you don't stay in the same place, right? So if you feel in a certain way, you don't say, oh, I feel this way, so I'm gonna stay this way, but you don't like it. What can you do about this? You have the responsibility though to change the way you're feeling by introducing different thoughts into your subconscious mind, so that whatever now you start feeling is going to be different. You see different things. You start manifesting, seeing different things in your life. So the things that you used to see, you see that things are starting changing. All I'm saying is these things are not like things that will happen overnight. It's not an overnight thing. It's a process. It's a process. So whatever you are feeling now, you can go back and retrace it and work on it. So through this program, we're gonna, show you how you can work on these things, right? Because sometimes I can tell you, yes, do this, but some people really don't know the step to take to literally work on this. Because some people don't like going to therapy, which is very good to go. That is one of the things I would recommend. Some people don't like to go on counseling. Yes, those are great. So if you don't like this, what can you do? Right? There is always a solution there for everything. So my solution is, do I recommend you to go to therapy? Recommend you to go for counseling, which are the things that we know we have to do. But the thing is, if you even want to go to therapy and go for counseling, one of the things you have to ask yourself, are you really willing? Because your therapist and your counselor might tell you the same thing. You have to have the desire to do this, and you have to have the willingness to change. Some people don't like, as I was saying, some people like to stay in the same place in the comfort zone. They don't like changing. They want to be always feeling a certain way because they've got used to that feeling. And I think, or maybe I think that's the way I am. That's the type of person I am. So they attribute that side of their life to their life as their personality. So this is who I am. Are you really an angry person? Do you love being an angry person? Are you really abusive person? Do you really love being that way? You see, they don't question themselves because they say, oh, I'm the abusive person. This is how I am. My dad used to do that. My mom used to do that. So I think is part of me, that kind of action. But do you really like that? That's the question. Do you really want to stay in that lane? Do you really want to be, do you feel happy? Are you joyful in that state? Do you like your family seeing in that way? Do you like your wife, your husband seeing that way? Those are the questions I will ask myself if, um, if I want to change something. But if you don't want to change, then I think there is no way of you seeing any progress because these things are like a stronghold. They always hold you back for being the best version of yourself. Because as I said, this program is to bring the best version of yourself. And I know and I believe that every person here is made or was created to be the best. So we don't stay on our lowest because I believe we all go through experiences. Yes, we all go through challenges. Yes, but are those challenges stronger than us or than you? You are stronger than that challenge. And I believe strength is not just physical, or we say, or acting a way, acting in a certain way to show people that you are strong. Being strong is from inside. Will you be able to stand? Will you be able to be you, even if other people are talking bad about you? Will you be able to not allow the external factors, as I was saying before, external factors to literally penetrate or change you as a person to become bitter, to become revengeful or violent? People who are strong are able to stay the way they are, even though they might be going through a lot of things, but still the external factors has no room or has no contribution in the way they act, the way they think, the way they even relate to other people who are not really uh, very so great with them. So let's go back to our paradigm. So that's how our paradigm. So our paradigm is how we were programmed. It can be renewed. We can transform our paradigm. So how can we transform our paradigm? As I said, is by introducing new things into our life. So as I say in the beginning, I did say that paradigm is literally the way you were programmed by your, parents. by your television, the things you watched, the things you saw, the people who were around you, right? Things that people told you, experiences that you faced, right? Traumas and all of that. So how can you renew? Is by starting programming yourself differently. Reading books, listen to things that are good for your mind. Are you willing to take the time to, reading, listen to the best coaches, those who are successful, those who we really admire to be like, be looking up to them. Are you willing to tap into that place, into that to that environment? Is by you starting, by looking up to them, watching different things. Some television programs and news can really insert fear in us. So if you're, let me do this. Let me tell you this. When I was young, I used to watch a lot of horror movies. Yes. I remember even my parents would say, don't watch this movie, because I was young, right? Don't watch this movie because it's not for kids. I would sneak and watch. I don't know why I didn't like the horror movie. I loved it. But I didn't know that these horror movies was actually building my fear up. Oh yes, I become really fearful. So when I was in the dark, what comes in my mind is that movie that I watched or I sneaked that I watched, right? So I come to a point in my life where I was really fearful. I was sitting in a car and I'm thinking about, oh, what if this happened, or sitting in an airplane, oh, what if this happened? Because the things that I've put in my mind, and I didn't know until I noticed. And I say, I don't like to be fearful. I want to be bold. Because I know I can be bold. I can be strong in that area. I don't like fear. I don't want to feel fear of every event, or everything, like feeling like I'm fearful like that. I don't like it. I want to change. So what I did is stop watching some things that is not contributing, movies, television programs, or like some people love, some people love to hear news all the time, 24/7. What's going on? Oh my goodness. I don't know. They don't understand why fear is literally coming to them. Like all the time, you're feeling fearful about what is going to happen tomorrow, what's happening today, who died, what happened, because that's all you hear in news, right? Nothing really positive going on. So all of this contribute to our paradigm or renewing our paradigm. So be mindful what you watch. Be mindful who you listen to. Who you listen to is very important, because who we listen to can have a very great impact on our lives. So be very mindful of who you listen to and what you read as well. And reading is good, but not every books can help you in your self-development. So we want to become that type of person, then read books that are there to help you to become that person. And also the people that we associate with. You see, I told you before that when we were young, people that were around us had a great impact. Same thing as in your journey of reprogramming your subconscious mind or reprogramming your paradigm, changing your paradigm, shifting your paradigm. You need to associate yourself with the right people. People that will lift you up, people that you can lift up as well. People that think the same way, that are focused, that want to go in the same direction as you going. And people who are not there to influence you to become the person you don't want to be. For instance, if I'm in a place I know that gossip is there, because I don't want to be a gossiper, what I do, I just, back up. Those are not people for me. Not necessarily hating them. No, we don't do that. But more like, I don't want to be associated as that person. So what do? You just change the people you associate yourself with. Right? So your paradigm can be renewed and can be reprogrammed. And it's all by reintroducing different things in your life or in your day-to-day activity or day-to-day life, right? So I'm gonna ask, is everything great? Are you guys hearing what I'm saying? Right? I just want to see a little bit of reaction, I don't want to be talking. I want to see if you guys are getting it. Yeah? Yes? Lovely. Lovely, lovely. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you very much. So let's carry on. So now we're gonna go to the impact of your emotions in our relationships. Amazing. I love this session because relationships are everywhere. Every time we are dealing with people, right? So whether your family, your wife, your colleagues, even people that you don't know, your neighbors, yeah, people that you don't really know, outsiders, everything. Those people, you deal with them every time. Whether you are associated with that person or not, you are still in a place with that person or with these people. So we are with people when we are in a bus, with people when we are in an airplane, we're with people when we are in our workplace, right? Even though we don't like this person or we like that person, but still, all these people, yeah, there's a built a certain way in a relationship with them, right? So it's very important how we deal with these people or how we react with these people. And as I said, our emotions are there. They just trigger us. People can trigger you to act in a certain way if you haven't mastered your emotion. People can tell you certain things that will hurt you, that will just lead you to just act in a way. But we have to understand that most of the time, people who are constantly acting different way, like acting this, saying this to you, we have to come to a point where we have to understand that they just are the type of people who are always acting on the emotions. We are emotional beings. As far as you are willing to work on yourself and work on your emotions, there are some other people that don't really care. They don't even have a clue about emotions. They just act the way they feel, and that's it. They don't really care about how you're gonna feel about what they do, how you think about them, or how you think about what they will say to you, because all they want to know is just say their mind, and that's it. So it's very important for you to understand how you can manage your emotions, even when you're in public, because someone that you have no idea can just come to you and upset you in a way. But then if you are not really careful, you're gonna just snap. And also it's like, have you heard people say, oh, let me just tell them a piece of my mind? Yes, it's because of what they're feeling, right? But if you can come to that point where you know how you can manage your emotions. I'm not saying if somebody tell you something is not really getting to you, it gets. But remember, I said your emotional not master of your life. You are the master of your emotions. So the type of person you are is like you can determine whether to, also snatch and tell that person your mind. It's like giving your emotion the authority to just cover the situation or take charge of the situation, or you decide to, you know, decide what you really want to, what you really want the outcome of that situation to be. That is the most important. Whatever situation is, it's not like, oh, let me tell them or let me do this because that's how I feel. Most important is to say to yourself, Is that really what I want to associate, or what I want to achieve, what I want to associate myself with? I want this type of outcome, so I might as well do this way, act this way. It doesn't make you stupid. No, some people say, oh, if you're too nice or you do this, you be classified as weak. They don't know that weak people are actually the ones that when the fight comes, they're trying to fight, they're trying to defend themselves, da, 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 all of that doesn't make you strong. We just associate strong or strength with just being loud, being telling your mind, telling the peace of your mind. No. Those who are strong knows what they do. Those who are strong, they are the one who can control their environment. Because we have power to control our environment. So let's see, if somebody comes to me and say this to me, I have the power to control it, right? I have the power to control this because I want to be associated. I want to be seeing this. This is not what I want to see. I don't want this type of outcome. So I would rather act this way and put things in place because you have the power. It's like you own the situation and you want the situation to be the way you want it to be. Those people are strong. So don't let anybody tell you, oh, if you're not acting that way, are you stupid? They say that word, oh, you're too weak, you're too this. No, this is not the way. We have a very different and wise way to deal with situations. And so most of the time in our relationships, that's always about, like married couples, or you are married or you're in a relationship, getting to know someone. We go through a lot of things. We have to understand that though. We all have been through different experiences, which is great. We all have had different, been to different places, having a different upbringing and all of that. So obviously the way you act is different from the way I will act. The things that it might upset you might not be the things that will upset me. The things that will trigger you to act in a way will not be the same thing for me because we are two different people, right? So understand this, that every person that you meet is that way. So don't think that, oh, because I like this, so this person will also like this. No, maybe you love this, or maybe you hate something. Other person will not see this, will see that thing very differently. So it's important to understand that we all have a different way of doing things. So know that. Don't go to a place thinking that, oh, I'm going to act way because this person will do this person do that, this person might, don't do that. Don't do that. So the things that really control relationship or really bad in the terms of us placing on other people is our expectations and perceptions, right? So we expect this person to do this person to act like this way. So if that person don't act this way, then we are triggered to feel this way. I feel disappointed because you didn't do this way, or you didn't do this the way I wanted. That is expectation, right? And also perception is, even if you haven't met that person, you're already thinking about what this person is going to be. And bear in mind, all these, our perception and our expectation are based on how we are programmed. Because if now, maybe you've been through bad relationship all your life, now maybe a very good young gentleman is coming, or very good lady is coming. Because you've been through this repeatedly experience, you just see everybody with the eye of the same thing. They're going to do the same thing to me. So even if they're so nice to you, you don't like it. Because guess what? You're so comfortable with where you used to be. Even you're acting that way now, I don't think like your mind is constantly telling you have this perception. I don't think she dressed that way, he dressed that way, so I think he will be like this. He's not the good ones because she does these things. So that person is not what they think they are, perception. So perception is very, very, I'm not saying it's bad to have at least expecting something, but I would suggest you yourself have boundaries, have expectation. And when I say expectational, I would rather say have your the things that you want to see in a person, so that, as I say, you choose people who you want to associate with, right? So if you see that that person is not helping your life, contributing anything in your life, you move away. But you never have to put a perception. You don't have to expect other people to act the way, because you can never change anybody, and you can never force people to, to succumb to the things that you want them to be, because everybody has the freedom to be who they want to be, right? But so you don't have to just force people with your perception and thinking, oh, I was expecting you to do this. Oh, I think you should be this way. Well, you can help if you can help. You can say you're the way you want, but you can't force nobody to behave the way you want them to behave. So we have to stop putting our having a perception about other people, and also expectation on other people. All right. So we have to bear in mind with that. And also, in our relationship, we get triggered a lot, because most of the relationship that you see now, I mean, we see a lot of divorces, we see a lot of relationship breaking down, because a lot of people never take time to work on their subconscious mind. So they bring in with the things that really are they're still struggling with, and they expect the other person to help them in a way to become the best version. But the thing is, nobody can help you in a way. When I say nobody can help you, nobody has the responsibility to help you to become the person you want to be. It's your responsibility. So if now I'm in a place, or at work, I don't expect my boss to make me better. My boss might offer me maybe training, right? I have to be the one who has to, choose to do the training and become more skillful in what I want to do, right? But they cannot force you. They cannot say, if you don't do it, they might say, if you don't do this, you're gonna, yes, but still they can't. You have the choice to just leave that job and find another job anyways. It's your choice, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same thing with our daily life. In your relationships, right? You always have to work on yourself. You are the master of who you want to be. God cannot come from heaven and say, I'm going to it's not like a transformer. Transformer, you work towards to become that transformer you want to see. So if you want to be a transformer, this type of person, you have to work on it. And that is by, taking time. And it's a process, right? It's a process. So the process of making your life better is your responsibility. So um, how can we stop caring about what other people think about us? It's the same thing. As I said, a lot of people has a lot of perception, they have thoughts, they have ideas. Even if they don't know you, they might not know you, they already have an idea of you. Maybe they see you on social media, they see you outside, they see the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you do your thing, and they might associate you with that type of person. Obviously, we can change how people feel about us. You can never change how people feel about you. You can't. You have to be you, knowing who you are, knowing who you are as a person is what going to solve the situation. Because if you don't know who you are, you oftentimes seeking validation from what other people think of you. And if I say, oh, I don't like you, I think you're too this, too that, too this, you're going to believe because you don't know who you are. But if you know that, yes, I'm this woman, I'm this man, even though you tell me this, okay, that's your thinking, but that's not change who I am. Because I'm very confident I know who I am. So whatever people think, or if you hear any speculation about you, you don't have to let that get you, because you already know who you are. You are settled. You are confident. Yes, you're confident, you are settled. You know that, okay, not everybody will see you, not everybody will like you the way you want to be liked. That's perfect. But it shouldn't have any impact on who you are. Or it shouldn't have any you shouldn't go to the extent where you allow the things to get you. You know, it shouldn't be that way. You always have to be focused. When you know who you are, it get you focused. When you know who you are, even though it might trigger you to feel a way, but still, it's not going to change you. You might feel a little bit, yes, okay, but yes, you carry yourself and you move forward. You're focused. That's how the type of person you ought to be. Because people always have a perception about us, think about us. They haven't even met you for years, but they still think about something about you. I think this person is this. I don't like that person. She talk too loud. You know, have you heard these people giving a very random things about you? She's too this, she's too that, he's too this, he's too that. They don't even have a clue about your life, but still they will associate you with something. And most of the time, notice this. People normally have these things where they see you and they see the things that they feel in them, or they reflect on you, the things that they feel in them on you. It's like they see you as their mirror. So if they're feeling bad, if they're feeling very uncomfortable, they just place that on you. So they don't have a clue about you. But because of the way they are programmed, the way they're feeling these, they're feeling maybe intimidated by you. So they don't like you. Why are they feeling intimidated by you? Is because they think you have something that they can never have. So therefore they don't like you. Or they feel like you're too good to be true. So they don't like you because they think they cannot become that type of person, although they cannot do the things that you're doing, that kind of thing. So most of the time, people that don't like you for no reason is because they just, have a lot of things that they have suppressed in them. And they oftentimes, um, just place those feelings on us or on you just to let you feel down on yourself, but not necessarily because that's who you are. Because of their problem is their problem. It's not your problem, it's their problem. So think about that, not letting anybody put you down or let you feel away or trigger any sorts of emotions in you. It might be hurtful, okay, but doesn't make it you, right? You always have to know that you're allowed to feel that way, but that feeling is not what has to drive your life. That feeling is because you feel that way and they say that to you. It has nothing to do with you. It's their problem, right? When you think that way, when you start building that type of mindset, you don't even have time to hate that person that told you that you can't, or they hate you, because what they did is not affecting you. Maybe I'm saying you are a very loving person, you're cheerful, amazing person, but because what he said now, you're feeling a certain way. If you fell away or you felt like because what they told me, so I'm gonna be resentful. See, you're just letting what they told you giving you that type of way of living. But you have to be stronger than any other thing that comes from the external. And I was saying we were talking about external factors. Those are external factors. It doesn't have to get into you. When it gets into you, that means it's like you didn't build a stronger way of or you haven't built a stronger protection. When I say protection, is by not allowing, because you have the responsibility to protect your heart, not allowing those things to get into your heart. So you're gonna see that person and say hello, smiling. It's not changing me to become bitter, because I don't want to be bitter. I want to be free. I want to be loving. I want to live my life. I want to have fun. You don't have time to be bitter with other people having all of that. When we talk about emotional maturity, you have to come to the point where nothing in your life or nothing in this world really moves you or change you. It comes to you, yes. You can't stop it. You can't stop people from thinking about how they want to think about you. But yes, you still stand, become that amazing and stunning woman that you are. So bear in mind, this is how you gotta do, and for you to become that person. So that is how you have to take charge of your emotion. So now let's talk about how to take charge of emotion. This we know we spoke about so many things, but now let's give you some point of a very generic point that can help you to take charge of your emotion. So first of all is to acknowledge and identify the problem. So when you're feeling a certain way, okay, don't say, why am I feeling that way? And then you suppress that feeling or you totally ignore it and go by your day. But you don't understand that. Okay, you ignore it. You didn't deal with it. So when next time same event happen, it triggers you and you're gonna feel the same way. You might not like it, but because you haven't worked on it, still you are feeling that way, right? So you have to acknowledge it. Say, okay, I feel that way. Maybe it might be something, okay. So acknowledge and identify the problem. So find the root cause of that problem. When I say find the root cause of that problem is to know that, okay, maybe why am I feeling, the example I made before. I know someone who had this abandonment issue when she was young, abandoned by the parents, was very like rejected, not really having that motherly and fatherly love that she really wanted to have. So now that she's adults, even in the groups, she'll be there and maybe they're not talking to her, they're not treating, maybe they're not doing the same thing, like they do with any other person to her. So she now feels like nobody likes her. But then in her eyes, that's what she sees, but it's not like that. It's because of that issue of abandonment or rejection. So what she did is to, take time, reflect. Okay, why am I feeling that way? Why am I feeling that nobody likes me, nobody loves me? Because of, maybe people are showing you love, are acting love, but you still don't see it because you still are trapped in that emotion that that thing, because your paradigm is still not reprogrammed. So what you have to do is to, now you discover the root. Oh, maybe because of this issue when I was young, I was treated this way. So this is the same thing I'm seeing. So you go back and then now you've seen the root cause of this or that situation. So now that you see the root cause of that situation or that problem, deal with it, right? So identify your triggers. And so, for instance, if you go through an episode or a situation and you know that that situation led you to feel a way, you have to identify that trigger, that situation, or what triggered that emotions, and what are the things that happened before you got to this emotional state. When you're able to write down and understand, okay, this happened, that's why I felt this way. This happened, that's why I felt that way. You'll be able to go back and work on that, trigger that was, you know, dealing with you, or you can be able to deal with that matter. Because, okay, I'm going through this episode. This episode is triggering this type of emotion in me. I don't like it. I don't know why, but if you take time and you just trace, it's like you research things, you see things, you'll be able to understand how to deal with that particular emotion. And also, certain things that you can do, as I mentioned before. You can see counseling. They're very good. Counseling are good. Is there for us. You can seek counseling and or therapy. Therapy more for trauma. If you deal with trauma, it's good for you to seek therapy. They'll be able to help you because they're there to help. So you can seek those facilities that are there. And never feel, it's more like taking the steps. Taking the steps as the major thing. If you take the steps and you start working on, you get there. Process. It's all about process, you know. But as I mentioned, some people don't like these facilities, don't like to go to tell their problem to anybody, right? So what can you do? Obviously, as I give you this thing, you can just, work on yourself, build yourself, go, invest in yourself in any chance, any given chance you have. It might take more time because it's always good when you have somebody out there helping you. But if you don't want to, you can still work, but you have to put in work and be disciplined and be consistent and disciplined with working on that. So now I'm going to give you some tools or some principles that I've learned that has helped me personally to manage or balance in my emotions, and also the things that you can also implementing in your daily life in order to help you to, deal with your emotions. And for me has been, as I mentioned, thoughts. These are biblical principles that I use, and I give most of the time to the people that I mentor. Your thought, your imagination, and your words. In other words, how you think, things that you see or how you see, and words of affirmation. So as I say, your thought can be, it's like, I would say you can manipulate the way you're thinking. If you don't like the way you're thinking, change it, right? The way you change, the way you think has a lot influence in your emotions. So if I think something like now and I don't like it, it just triggers certain things in me that make me act in a way. So if you easily get moody about something, probably you thought about something or something just happened and easily it just trigger you, right? So we start with what we're thinking. The Bible says that as a man think in his heart, so is he. That is in Proverbs. As in is Proverbs chapter 27, verse 3. As a man think, 23 verse 7, sorry. As a man think in his heart, so is he. So whatever you think or whatever it goes in your mind, you think about, you become. Thoughts are magnet. Whatever you think, you attract. And you become what you think. So we're going to use the power of our thought, or I use the power of my thought, and also imagination. What I want to see, how I want to feel, the type of person I want to become. That is exactly how I will imagine myself being. So that is an exercise. You have to take time. And that's what I do all the time, every day. So see myself thinking, this is how I want to feel. I want to feel joyful, amazing. Like, I want to feel happy. I want to see myself being that type of woman. I want to see myself having this type of event in my life. So now I'm using my thoughts, then I'm using the way I see. And also words, we know that words are powerful. Yeah. Your words form, you form things with your words. So I use my words to change my circumstances, right? So what I do is I begin to say these things out loud. I am successful. I am amazing. I am so happy. You say these words and you might not see it, but it builds you. It might take time. All this is process, but it builds you in a certain way. I feel so happy. I feel amazing. I'm amazing. I have I have mastered my emotions. Let me add this. I'm in control of my life. I'm in control of how I feel. You say this out loud, and then you think about it. Then you see yourself, that person. Those are very powerful tools that really works. When I say works, I mean it works. I mean a product of it, it works. So what you see, what you think, and what you say, you all have a very powerful influence in your life. So think about it, imagine, and say it out loud all the time. It might take you 5 minutes every day, but do it and be consistent. And the thing is, the more you do it, the more you become like real. It's like a real thing to you. You know, it becomes so real. You just introduce in your life some experiences, some opportunities, and it happens all the time when you see things like this way. You know, it's amazing. So try this. It's a very powerful miracle tool you can use. So whenever you feel moody, whenever you feel anxious, whenever you feel angry, first check your thoughts, where you're thinking, you know, and avoid being emotionally reactive. Don't act quickly every single time when somebody, you don't quickly act, you know, just take time, think before you act, you know, because if you don't think before you act, you might act in a way that it might not really give you a great outcome. Have you seen the people, even leaders, some very great leaders, they come to a point where they can't even know how to act in terms of how to control how they feel. So you see a very great leader, but still they fail because they never have self-control. So you see parliament people going crazy because they're upset, right? And they just start fighting. I'm like, oh my goodness. So these people are in charge of our society. You have absolutely no clue how they can literally manage how they feel. So don't quickly reacting, you know, on the way you feel. Always have to be, you know, always know that, okay, I feel that way, but I don't want to act this way, because the way you feel, you might not see it, but the more you do this, you see that you become to gain mastery of how you want to act, right? So how we will act, that's that important. You might feel it, but how you will act, that's the important. So put that one in mind. And I'm gonna ask again, are we all cool? Are we all cool? Are you guys enjoying it? I wanna see. And I wanna see, you guys should tell me something. Amazing, amazing. That's absolutely great. Absolutely great. Thank you very much. So now I'm going to tell you guys, so we are coming to an end. Obviously, we want to give you guys some time to ask any question, you know, questions and everything. But as I said, it's up to you guys if you want to ask questions. It's all up to you, but question will be great, and we will answer the questions. So I'm going to give you guys 6 essential emotional skills that you need to learn. So yes, I give you some tools, but these are very essential skills. They are skills. So more like things that you have to learn to be able to, that will help you to balance or manage your emotions. So the first one is self-awareness, yeah? So when I say self-awareness, it's more like, or I call it self-examination. Is when you take time and you examine yourself. And for you to build this kind of skill, you need to practice self-reflection. Yeah, you need to practice self-reflection. And that is having a quiet time, take time, take your time. It might be whenever you have the time and chance, a very calm place. Take that time and you have to, what I do, I'm gonna be very practical. What I do, I take the time and I like writing them down. So I take maybe your diary. Some people like it, voicing them out. So it's up to you how you want to do this. So write them down or just voice them out. And that is maybe you've gone through an episode, right? And it trigger you to feel that way. It's very important because if you want to be your life to be a quality, you want to live a quality life, you have an excellent spirit, right? You want to be excellent in whatever you do. This is very important because sometimes, yes, we might feel this and we ignore it. But then we don't know that it's going to repeat it next time when we go through the same thing. So the most important thing is to write them down. Take the time. Be very how do we call it? Be very intentional with this exercise. Like you intentionally, I don't know, but what you can do is like, I don't know, but this situation just triggered this. I don't know why. So you start working on, you write them down. What is the situation? Why am I feeling that way, right? Why am I feeling that way? You might go to the point when you maybe it's because somebody told you this. That's when you were talking to that person, you were very harsh. I go through and the situation where maybe somebody told me something and I didn't really, it just really, it was so very confusing to me. So maybe because of that, I ignore it. I didn't deal with it, obviously. Maybe it happened just like that. So now I shift to that situation to deal with another thing. So now that I'm dealing with another thing, the person that I'm assessing I'm dealing with, I mean, acting the way that normally I won't act, they will tell you, are you okay? That kind of thing. And then when you say yes, but then you don't know really what happened. But maybe when you sit down and, write down and reflect, maybe, oh, it's because of that. But what is that thing or what that situation really got to me? Why? You can always go back. And when you go back, you find, okay, why do I feel this way? So these are the questions you answer. Why do I feel this way? And then you write them down. Oh, I feel this, you write them down. It's like you examine the root cause. To go back and to examine that root cause of the things that you were feeling. So once you discover the root cause of that, you take steps. So maybe it's because what they told you, maybe that person didn't even mean it. It was maybe a joke, but it's because inside maybe you lack confidence. Let me put it that way, you lack confidence. So maybe that thing that the person told you just trigger you to feel the way because now you don't feel like you are able to do something because of what that person told you. You can still write them. So now you find out that you lack confidence. So you have to work on your confidence. So now what you have to do is start confessing it. I'm confident and bold, right? Use your words to build that. Secondly, start, listen to audios that will help you to build up your confidence. That will teach you, it's like learn it. Find your abilities, trying to, work on it, trying to see yourself being confident. Those are steps you have to take, you can take to tackle that root. So you discover it, but then you have to work on it. Is one thing of doing this exercise by writing them down, but just leaving there. Because when you discover, you write them down, you don't do anything, it's not going to change, it's going to be the same. So you always have to, write it, but always have to go back and work on it. Take the steps, it might take some time, but take the steps. So as I say, second, so number 2 is embrace your emotions. So don't suppress your emotion, never suppress your emotion, never ignore it, especially when it's something that you don't like. Them negative. We are talking about negative emotions. So them negative emotions, embrace all the good ones. They're good. They're there to be felt is absolutely wonderful. But the ones that can cause us to lose something or to act in a way that it might affect something about our life or the people that we love. Because some actions or some emotion can destroy some relationships. And that's absolutely true. So that's what I'm saying. Don't ignore it. Always go back and work on it. You can even be sincere with the person that you are with, tell them maybe it's because of this. It helps, it helps with that process, helps you to, quickly deal with it. And as I say, so number 3 is like you don't act on your emotions. We say this already. So number 3, you don't act on your emotions. Never ever act on your emotions. So the way you feel is not because the way you have to act. You have power over your emotions. Your emotions are there to be felt, but they are not there to be acted upon. So always know that. You can feel this way, but always make sure you don't decide on how you feel. It's not like today I feel like I love you, so I love you. Okay? But what about tomorrow? If you don't feel like you love me, are you still gonna love me? You have choice. You understand? You have to understand the difference between choice and letting your emotion be the one that making the choice for you. You are the master of your life. So know that. And also so that was number 3. So number 4, have empathy, be compassionate, especially when to deal with other people, right? You always have to put yourself on other people's shoes. This is being emotional intelligence. Always put yourself on, okay, this person said this to me, maybe because they didn't have a good day, maybe they're going through a bad day. Always be compassionate. Don't always be like, oh, you say this to me, so that. Nah. Always have a very compassionate heart towards other people. You learn this. You have to learn it. I know you might be going through things, but understand, as I said, we all in a different places. Everybody is different. To see people differently and be very compassionate, have empathy for people. And number 5, self-reliant. So don't be fully in charge of your life and know that you have the responsibility of your mental well-being. So nobody is there to make you happy. You are the person who has to make yourself happy. Don't expect nobody to come and help you with your mental state or how you're feeling. Don't say, I'm expecting you to make me feel happy. That word is very interesting. If I choose to make you feel happy, fine. But what if I don't choose to make you feel happy? Are you still going to be happy? Or are you dependent on me? Don't be dependent, be self-reliant and not understand that, okay, what I'm doing or every time I am in charge. I want to be happy. So you take steps, you build, stop feeling happy, start thinking happiness, joy, things that make you feel happy. Boost your mood by just the way you're thinking. And then always expect other people to make you feel happy, right? And also, number 6, with our final point, is relax, chill, relax all the time, be relaxed. Don't take things too much personal. Don't be too much rigid with life. Relax, have fun, enjoy your life. These are good. You create all of these things by yourself. Life, God created this wonderful life for you to enjoy. So enjoy your life. Yes, you may go through experience, but these experiences are not there to break you. It's there to make you stronger. So understand this and know that, okay, my tomorrow will be different. You don't think differently. And enjoy your life. Enjoy every season. Enjoy people around you instead of letting their things that you do trigger you all the time, but always be in a place where you know that, okay, I might hear this, but still I choose to be happy. I choose to enjoy my life, to relax, right? So these are the points, or the 6 points, the really essential skills that you can learn, because some people don't know how to be relaxed. Yes, you learn, you practice, be intentional and do it. Be consistent. Have a goal, right? Have a goal. This is how I want to feel. This is how I want to be. So write your goal down. Write your goal down. Your emotional state. I don't like feeling this. So maybe by the end, it's going to take you a year. Don't rush it. It's going to take you a year. It's going to take you a month, whatever you want. It's going to take you 2 years. But is the intention. Work on it. Be focused, right? Focus on that goal and be determined. Have the desire to change, and also be very consistent in whatever you're doing to perfect in that area of your life. Be consistent and be disciplined. So don't wake up tomorrow because tomorrow you're feeling this way. You think, oh, I don't think I can ever go through or go, I can never feel all right, or I can never become that person, or I can never feel this way that I want to feel because of everything that I feel that way. It's a process. So understand that one. You know, the time that I may take might not be the same time you may take. So don't rush, don't compare yourself with other people. Never do that to yourself. Your journey is different. So you take charge of that time that you have, that journey that you have, and you work on it. And remember that your life is different from every other person, but it's your choice to design it the way you want. God has already designed it for you. But the thing is, your responsibility to see that picture and walk in the same direction that you want to, or God wants you to lead, or you want to be. So yes, those are the 6 essential skills that you can learn that would help you to, you know, work on your emotion, master your emotion in your day life, right? With other people in our life, in our workplace, even for us, everything that we do in life. So now is the Q&A session. So we have now like 30 minutes. So it's up to you guys. The 30 minutes was for the Q&A. So any question at all. So if you have a question, you can, if you want to talk, you can just raise your hands and I will just, you know, let you talk, or you can just write it. Then I can read the question, you know, so I can answer it. So yes. Any question? If no question, at least I want to hear how are you guys? Is there anything? What have you learned? Anything like? Want to hear you guys about that. Any question? Okay, you learn knowing yourself is most important. Absolutely, absolutely. You're very right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Knowing yourself is very important, and because nobody is gonna learn you. You have to learn yourself. so that you can teach other people about yourself, right? Especially because every person will have a different way of how they think you are. But if you know yourself, you learn about yourself. When they come with that perception, you can just correct them because you know that you're not that person, right? Or you know that this is who I am. So learning, knowing yourself is absolutely very important. Yes. Oh, thank you very much, Deborah. Thank you, thank you. So I'm waiting, maybe giving it 2-3 minutes. If anybody has another question, a contribution, or even a contribution what you think, you can still share it. Then I'm gonna give you a little bit of news and or upcoming events that we'll have. So I'm still waiting. Thank you so much, Deborah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. All right. So what I will say is thank you so much. If you still have questions or you want to write me anything, you can just write me on sales@ruthcarry.com. You can just message me or text email me there and I'll be able to reply you back because I know that most of people might not be okay to write, but that's fine, that's perfect. You can still email me and I will reply you. I'll give you the answer you need. And I'm also gonna thank you all for coming to this webinar. I'm very grateful. I appreciate each one of you for coming, taking your time. I'm very grateful. And I just want to say that I hope I've given you what you needed, because you spend your time to come in. I hope I give you what you needed. So I'm very grateful and thank you all so, so much for coming. And thank you. Okay. So Michael, do you want to talk?
Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, I was driving, so and I had a few. My little one was making too much noise, so I couldn't contribute at the time.
Okay.
But yeah, I've parked. So wanted to say thank you very much. Learned a lot. Just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
So you spoke a lot about emotion, feelings, etc. And just wanted to ask your opinion in terms of do you think that as a man showing emotion is a sign of weakness? Why or why not?
Right.
Because sometimes men we don't tend to show enough emotion or our feelings, etc. Simply because it's kind of stereotype, or it has all these stigma, etc. So do you think that as a man, if you show emotions, it's a sign of weakness or not? But just in your own, what you have, you can contribute to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. So basically, I know that especially you, man, when you were young, you were told a man should act this way, a man should be strong, and they associate expressing or numbing your emotion or strength, right? But that is absolutely wrong, right? When you emotions are there to be felt, right? But being strong is when you are able to control your emotion. That is strength. But some people, most of the time, men are thought to be, emotional, stay rigid. But they don't know that that's when most of them become emotional unavailable because they are taught this way. So most of the time we get into a relationship where we are not even showing any affection, love to our partners because we're told not to be too emotional. Because as a man, if you're too emotional, you are weak. That is absolutely wrong. And we know that whatever these things can, as we say, it forms your paradigm. So whenever you grow up and you become to think that way, that maybe as a man, this is how I should act. But that doesn't make you strong. Being too numbing your emotion doesn't make you strong. That's why you see a lot of men who are upset, always angry, always upset, even though, yes, you're trying to, but that doesn't mean you are strong, right? Being strong is, yes, you know how to control your emotion. That's what we call it, emotional intelligence. It's not letting emotion control you. You feel love, why don't you show it? It's more like not letting the negative emotion control you. That's other words. Not allowing the negative emotion have the mastery of your life. That is strength, but not is because you're feeling you like someone, is because you're not told to show your emotions, so you're trying to be so rigid and cold. It's because these things can just get you to become that type of person. Emotionally unavailable. That's what we see in our society. There's a lot of people, a lot of men who are emotionally unavailable because they were told to do this, to be this, to act this way. As a man, do this. As a man, be so rigid. That's not it. That doesn't make you strong. Strength comes from being the master. But master doesn't mean numb your emotion. It's to work on yourself, become the best, and not letting the negative emotion control you, right? So I hope I've replied or answer your question.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much. Anybody else? Okay, so I'm assuming everything is clear. So as I said, you still have time. If anything, you want anything, you can just, just email me and I will reply you. So, thank you all for coming. And we have another event on the 21st of October, but that one is on site. And if you all know, we're starting this event. It's called Reinvigorating Your Confidence. So 2023, Reinvigorating Your Confidence is going to happen on the 21st of October. So more communication will be, obviously, we will communicate to you. And I'm just very excited. So if you are interested, we're going to send you the details, everything that you know to know about this event. It's going to be held in Birmingham. So most details will be communicated to you. And also I offer life coaching services and mentorship services. So if you are interested, you can visit me on ruthcarry.com and you can send us an email. I can be your personal mentor or mind or life coach, and I'll be very glad to do so. And also, if you need any notebooks or journals or children activity books or children, exercise books, you can find these books on ruthcarry.com. So thank you so much for coming. I am very, very excited, and I hope you're also excited like I am. And God really bless all of you. And I hope to see you in my next webinar. Thank you so much. Yeah?
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you. God
coming.
bless you.
God bless you. Thank you so much.